And my first guest joins me in the studio, Mr. Robert Lorsch. He is the CEO of MMRGlobal Incorporated. MMRF is their stock symbol. Bob, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Well, we're very pleased to announce this week, Bob, that we're reinitiating coverage of the company. We've been following you for the last 2 or 3 months. We're going to be following you now for the next 3 or 4 months. So I guess this is a way to say welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much. It definitely keeps my Thursdays occupied, or my Fridays occupied, or whatever it is. Okay.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about the company business model, because we haven't really gone back to square one, and since we are reinitiating coverage, tell us again what the company does.
The company is primarily a pure-play personal health records company, and so what we believe that we represent is the most comprehensive, user-friendly, consumer-centric personal health record. And what that means to health IT, which is a trillion-dollar worldwide marketplace, is the ability to tag our product onto any electronic medical record system, any telemedicine system, be the front end for concierge medicine or the entry point for electronic medical records with document management and imaging systems. So we theoretically are 2 pieces of a puzzle on the front end and the back end that anybody who's going into the future of healthcare tomorrow, today, should need to incorporate into their systems.
You know, this is really something that wasn't even possible just a few years ago. So not only does it represent what's going on in healthcare IT right now, but really what's going to be happening in healthcare IT for the next foreseeable future.
Not only wasn't it possible, but it was extraordinarily expensive. There were no standardizations. There's still not a lot of very definitive standardizations that are out there. But having said that, governments around the world, including the U.S. government, the Chinese government, the European government, Australian government, are coming out with all kinds of incentives for doctors, hospitals, healthcare professionals in the tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars, forcing them or encouraging them or reimbursing them to buy products just like ours.
Well, what's interesting, and I know you're going to be hitting a receptive audience, because it was only about 5 or 6 years ago I was in a boardroom with a bunch of physicians, and we were discussing just this very subject, and they were all extremely frustrated with the inability to get medical records instantaneously. So I would have to think that your product is falling on receptive ears.
There's still a lot of frustration, and the frustration is driven by the fact that the systems that are out there are high cost, require physicians to change the way they do business. And candidly, if a physician group has one system and the hospital they work at has another system, there's limited ways that these systems can talk to one another. The nice thing about MyMedicalRecords.com or our professional products, MMR Pro, is we use an infrastructure which is found in every office anywhere in the world, even if it's a tent in the middle of a desert in the jungle, and that's telecommunications. So we've integrated a telephony platform as a backbone infrastructure to delivering personal and professional health information to doctors and hospitals around the world. And ironically, the U.S. government, and under the HIPAA guidelines, has essentially said that unless 2 doctors have a handshake of an encrypted EMR, the only way that they can move information securely is by fax, using plain old ordinary telephone. So somehow, some way, when we built this product, we built it with a technology that people would raise their eyebrows, but it happens to be the best technology to do what anybody could want to do in health IT today, and looks like it's going to be the best technology into tomorrow, which furthermore we've patented and have some tremendous intellectual property surrounding our ability to leverage and control the use of those services.
You know, what you said a moment ago, it was so right on, because in that board meeting that I talked about 5 years ago, one of the biggest frustrations they were talking about is how much money are we going to have to spend to accommodate this kind of a platform? And you're saying that the infrastructure that they need already exists in their office.
Well, the way physicians do business in their office is basically a tried and true result of the way these physicians have kind of set their practices up to operate. Moving the practice to an EMR system typically costs a physician group with 3-4 physicians anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000. Plus, during the transition, their workflow is cut down by 50%, so that could be another $100,000, $200,000. Whereas with our products, we call them entry-level products because we use plain old ordinary fax, scanning, document imaging to prepare everything to go into one of these systems. So the transition time and the processing time is faster. And on the back end, we use plain old ordinary telecommunications platforms and fax platforms and information exchange platforms to send images to patients. So it's kind of like a physician's office could actually move 1,000, 2,000 patients into our product for what is hundreds of dollars a month versus hundreds of thousands of dollars up front.
Right.
So hopefully that deals with some of the frustration.
Now that is, of course, that's your revenue model, of course, is that
Yes.
you're charging physicians and healthcare providers a certain fee per month to make use of your system and streamline their operations.
We have multiple revenue models. One revenue model is direct-to-consumer, where we offer consumers personal health records. And if you look at companies like creditcards.com, which 5 years ago you would have rolled your eyes and said, why would anybody spend $60, $70, $80 a year? It's ironic they're the largest advertiser on television today in terms of the syndicated broadcast market.
Right.
Another revenue model that we have is human resources. So companies with large bases of employees or even small bases of employees will pay us so much money per month in order to have their employees equipped with a personal health record, which avoids duplicate testing, saves lives in the event of an emergency, gives them the ability to stay in the office in the event they need an important document, because we have disaster preparedness features built into our product as well. And then another aspect of our revenue model is the document imaging and scanning, where we can go into a physician's office at a very low amount of money and basically get them from paper to paperless in preparation for a more expensive, comprehensive electronic medical record system.
About 2 minutes left or so, but what's new at the company since we last spoke?
Well, one of the most exciting things is that in the last month, there's been numerous articles that have emerged in government publications and business publications talking about the effectiveness of personal health records. In fact, in one case, there was an article talking about the fact that I think certain companies had saved as much as $200 million over a 10-year study using personal health records to reduce healthcare costs. The second thing is we recently signed an agreement with NG Connect, which is a group that is part of Alcatel-Lucent, and it includes a variety of major companies that are working on collaborating their technologies with each other in order to create better products that will use Alcatel-Lucent products, MMR products, Intel products, NCR products, Sanyo products, GameStream products. A lot of these companies figuring out ways to collaborate so that maybe if you have a GameStream system at your family's home, you can slap a personal health record onto it. Or if you go out and purchase a piece of software, there's a personal health record embedded into it. So these companies, under the guise of Alcatel-Lucent, will collaborate together, and we've just been invited to be part of that group. We've joined that group, and actually it could put us into the Consumer Electronics Show as we see it fast approaching this January.
Fascinating. It's been really interesting to watch here as we've been following you. We're watching the future unfold right in front of us in the present. Again, MMRGlobal, stock symbols MMRF. You'll be hearing a lot from this company on the program over the next several months. Bob, glad to have you back with us.
Thank you. We call it the future of healthcare at work today.
Perfect. I like that's a great slogan.
Thank you.